What is going on, everybody? It's been a while since I've done one of these. But Train Freak here, also known as Jason. Sitting at the tracks. See if anyone wants to pop in, hang out with me. So yeah. Right now, I don't see anything coming. I don't know what the train traffic's like today. But yeah, I had a pretty cool contest not too long ago. And gave away a couple of locomotives, one N scale, one HO scale, and did bingo. Mrs. Freak helped me with it, which was a lot of help. So yeah. And it looks like we got our first person in the chat. We got Hot Dog Pilot Andy here. What's going on, Andy? Hopefully things are going good for you across the pond. So, but yeah, I'm thinking of the next contest, how it's going to be entered. Not real sure. Probably do bingo again, but I don't know how I'm going to do the entry per se. I thought it was pretty cool to see where people got multiple chances. And Andy's saying he paid the bills. So, oops, there you go. And we got Brad from Willow Creek Industrial Spur on the other side of the much bigger pond. So we have already gone full international between yours truly, Andy, and Brad. Now, Brad, you're what? New Zealand? I think you're New Zealand. New Zealand, Australia. I know you're over in that area, but I think you're New Zealand. So correct me if I'm wrong. And we got another Jason in the house. We got Railfan Man. What is going on? So Jason is saying that he wanted to stop in just real quick to say hi before he gets back to doing some business paperwork. Well, hey, I appreciate you popping in, Jason. It's good seeing you again. And we got 156 Andrew, also known as the Shortbread Express, in the house as well. And I did get it correct, New Zealand. So we have the US, the UK, and the NZ in the house. So how about that? It's a bit of a global triangle. And depending on which way you look at it, the US is in the middle, or New Zealand's in the middle, or the UK's in the middle. But anyways, so I went and got me lunch, Chick-fil-A. Got me a sandwich in here and some mac and cheese. Dude, their mac and cheese is phenomenal. And you wouldn't think about it, but put some Chick-fil-A sauce on top of the mac and cheese. It's like that much better. So yeah. So I got a couple of things I would like to announce. Oh yeah, I forgot. I got a cookie too. Gotta, crave that sweet tooth, right? So I do have another contest that I will be doing. I don't know how long it's going to take. Basically, what I'm working on is acquiring some tangent kits, and there's going to be 4 cars that I'm doing. One's for me, one's for a friend of mine. One is going to be for John at Schuylkill River Valley. He's going to get one of them because he's actually doing the decals for me. So that is my thank you to him. And I'm going to give the 4th one away. If I can get my hands on the N-scale version, then I could do that. I know I can get my hands on the O-scale version. But, so, Pullman Standard Company made these box cars called PS1s. Hey, Steven from the Wigwag Workshop is in the house. What's going on, Steven? Make sure I didn't miss anybody. Okay, I didn't. But basically, it's like a heritage boxcar, but it's not a heritage to a specific railroad. It's a heritage to Pullman Standard. And I don't know if they did one for their 25th thousandth car that they made or their 50th thousandth car, but I do know that in 1956 they built their 75th thousandth car, and ironically, it ended up coming to my railroad that I modeled, the Cotton Belt. And so Lionel did it for O scale, and Micro Trains did it for N scale. Nobody did it for HO. I don't know why. It is a one of a kind car, and I do know manufacturers, they, unless it's like a locomotive, they typically do not like doing one of a kind. What they typically want to do is they want to do like minimum of 3 different numbers, road numbers, because it's just too much for them to have to repaint. And all of these box cars would have been, you know, brown or iron oxide, unless a specific railroad wanted it a different color. But the color of this box car is a silver aluminum color. So it's not reflective, but it's not white either. So it's like a very dull silver. And on one side of the car, the left side where the reporting marks is, and the reporting marks is SSW, which is St. Louis Southwestern, and that's the Cotton Belt's actual real name. But the road number is 75,000. And above it, it says this is Pullman Standards 75th thousandth PS1 boxcar, awarded to the St. Louis Southwestern Rail Company. And then below that is Pullman Standard has built, you know, boxcars to these 75 different shipping carriers. And then below the numbers, it lists in 4 columns all 75 railroads that bought PS1 boxcars from Pullman Standard. And then on the right side of the car, it's just a Cotton Belt Blue Street Fast Freight logo. Now, when Pullman Standard did the car, they did not color in the lightning bolt that's behind the Cotton Belt's herald. But to my understanding from a couple of sources is that when that car made its way from Pullman Standard, wherever it was manufactured, down to the Pine Bluff shops in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, they did color in the lightning bolt blue because Cotton Belt was known as the Blue Streak Fast Freight. So, hey, Dwayne's Fork and Spoon Railroad, welcome. And we got Lynn Tree Trains and Models, also known as Lyndon, is in the house as well. So welcome, Lyndon. Another one from across the pond. And we got, I don't know if you want to call him Voodoo John, Witchcraft John, Mystic John. He's got some type of, thing going on with him. But yeah, don't piss him off because he will get you. But John's in the house. So what's going on, John number 7? But anyways, but yeah, so I'm going to order 4 tangent kits. So HO scale. And tangent, very, very detailed. All right. They're not like Athearn Blue Box. They're very detailed. And I'm going to custom paint them, custom decal them as the Pullman Standards 75th thousandth boxcar. Now, I do know, and I did see pictures that Pullman Standard also did another one of those heritage for the 100,000 PS1 boxcar, but I don't remember which railroad it went to. But very similar. It was like the left side of the car looked exactly the same. Instead of 75th thousandth, it had 100,000. It had the list of all the railroads, and of course the road number was 100000. So I'm going to be doing that in HO. Like I said, if I can get my hands on an N scale and the O scale as well, then I might give away 3 different scales. I don't know yet. So, but if I choose not to do the N scale and the O scale, what I will do is give the HO scale away with a display box to put it in. So that way, no matter what scale you are, it will be like a collector's. It might not be something you want to run on your railroad. It's something that you could display. So that's going to be the next prize for the next contest. I've already decided. Now, depending on when I get those kits in, get the kits built, paint, decaled, yada, 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 will depend on when I do the contest and how I do the contest. I kind of wanted, I was thinking last week I should do a contest related to like March Madness, before the games all started. I thought that would have been pretty cool to do, but, I already had another contest I needed to award out. And hey, Marty M, channel member in the house. Speaking of channel members, I do have something on that too here in a minute. But I don't know. Maybe if I can get these done by the time the college baseball World Series comes out, I might do something along the lines of that, and predicting who moves on and whatnot, get you extra points or something, I don't know what I'm going to do exactly, but I'm sure we can figure it out. But I do know what the next prize of the contest will be. Now, speaking of channel members, I do have something that I did put a members only video out on yesterday. My buddy John Goforth is working on a building for the layout, and you can see kind of some of his progression on the building in that video. But in the video, I am asking for a name for the industry. It's actually going to be two industries. So he's already got one side named and what it's going to do. But he's like, why don't you poll your channel members and see if they can't help us come up with the name for the other side of the building. So it's basically like loading docks, kind of insets with a little walkway, and then it kind of outsets, but not as far as this side, and then another set of loading docks, so I can have two tracks come in. And so yeah, if you're a channel member, no matter what level of membership you're on, you can go and suggest a name on that if you want to, and the function of the industry, so what the industry does. So I'm just throwing that out there. But anyways, how is everybody's day going so far? And I still don't see anything. All right, so Mystic is saying something about Wigwag having a good idea, so now I need to go back in the chat and see what I can find that. Oh, Wigwag, what was your idea? I'm going back in time. I don't see your idea. They were everybody saying hi to everybody. All right, so Wigwag, you got to put in the chat, what was your idea? Because Mystic's already got me curious as a baby raccoon. So what was that idea? Andrew at Shortbread Express wants to know if anyone is going on 1223 to Oban and Malag. Instead, 6 car, it's known 7 cars. Or it's now 7 cars. Dwayne's day is going good. Got my dead spot on the layout fixed by dropping a feeder. Sometimes you got to do that. Oh, Steven being a smart ass. Gotcha. Oh, sarcastic Steven. Smarten it up, huh? So, I don't know if anybody knows or not, but tonight is, On Track Tuesday? Hey, Stormy Sky Rail Productions. Let's see. I think it's Dave. Is Dave Crooked River going live tonight? If I'm not mistaken, it might be Dave. Dave Thurber, that is. Crooked Dave. I'm just curious if anyone knows which On Track Tuesday is going tonight. I noticed that Redbird Tony, he stepped down. And, so we're going to definitely miss him on Tuesday nights. And I believe, Jason, the last Tuesday is Crooked. And I think next Tuesday is April 1st. So that's why I'm thinking it's him. But I talked with Robert over at the Flying Crow, which I will be meeting up with him. I'll be going to his house in a couple of weekends. The weekend of the 12th of April, I am going to be meeting up with him and the newest On Track Tuesday member, and that would be Steve Childers. And I think we're going to do an ops session over at Robert's that Saturday. It'd be probably in the afternoon after Back on Track. And then in May, Robert, on his way back from Pennsylvania, is going to come to the house and hang out. And I'm hoping to have Hickory Ridge fully functional, like the LCC push buttons and everything, so we can do an op session there. I got my camera hung back up. I got the second camera working where I can use one remote to control both now, which is awesome. Because then that tells me I can go ahead and start looking at hanging the camera over at Brinkley, even though track work's not done there yet. I ain't even started since I pulled everything out. Hey, Kyle Stevens, what's going on, buddy? But anyways, in May, I'm going to try to have both of them come to my place to do an op session. I think that will be a lot of fun. So, well, Jason, you ain't got much to catch up on because I haven't put out much. So, I'm maybe doing one a month at the rate I'm going. I was supposed to go to Hot Springs and work on my customer's layout last Saturday, and he's also building my button panels. And so Hickory Ridge is getting two panels that are going to be duplicates. So it doesn't matter if you hit a button on the left panel or the right panel. They both do the same thing, and my buttons, which I've already got those ready to go, they have green and red LEDs in them. And so when you hit one button and it goes from, like, say, red to green, it will also make the other button that is the same turnout control go from red to green as well. So, but his wife had to go to the hospital. She had something going on with her, so he had to cancel, and we are rescheduled for not this Saturday, but next Saturday. So hopefully I get my panels in a couple of weeks. So, Marty M saying, I got my DCC system up and functioning. Tried running a new Atlas Gold SD60M on the layout. No luck. Ran a known good DCC loco without problems. Had to walk away. Checking the new loco now. Ugh. Oh boy. Sometimes that happens. Yep. Well, check the address of the locomotive too. If you got it new, most likely that address is going to be 3. A short address of 3, not a long address, a short address. But if you bought it used, it could be anything. And the only time I ever use a programming track is to find the address of a locomotive. Other than that, I don't ever use a programming track. Mac and cheese is fire, y'all. I ain't even got started on my sandwich yet. Me too. I know she's had some issues. I mean, she's up in age as well. I think they're like in their upper 60s, maybe lower 70s. And I know like 20 years ago, that's not up in age, but in this day and time, with all of the crap that they put in our foods and our life expectancy is not as big as it used to be in our country, that's up in age. Man, my shades are dirty, but I tell you, it's bright out here too, so that's why I got to wear shades. So, yeah, with age comes more problems. That is exactly right. Check the address. If it's under the cab number, hit function 8 if it's an ESU sound decoder. Yeah, now that's another point too. ESU will not let the locomotive move at all if it's got sound until the prime mover starts up. It's called engine interlock. It comes defaulted on ESU. Hey, we got Grandpa Rails in the house. What's going on, JD? What's the temperature? The temperature on my truck is reading 76 degrees Fahrenheit. For those that do Celsius, you can convert that if you want to. But 76 Fahrenheit. Okay. So JD's in the house. What is going on, JD? Y'all get to watch me eat a little bit of lunch. Also, for those that follow Steve Childers, the Retirement Railroad, he goes live a lot of times on Friday afternoons, and I join. I will not be on Steve's live stream this Friday, but he goes live every Friday. So for those in the chat that are not subscribed to Steve Childers, I highly recommend you go check out Steve's channel. I would put the link on there, but I'm using my cell phone and I'm not going to try to do that. So, Cal, you're at the perfect 69, huh, Cal? Well, the only downside about warming up like we are is that just gives the atmosphere more energy for storms. So, get on the train for Oklahoma. No, well, there ain't no passenger train that goes straight from Arkansas to Oklahoma, believe it or not. There should be, but the only passenger train that we have that comes through here goes from Missouri to Texas. It actually goes from Chicago, and you can ride it all the way out to LA or Los Angeles. So, So Andrew, is that 14 degrees Celsius or is that 14 degrees Fahrenheit? Now, I know stormy 35 degree in Wisconsin. Hey, at least you're not freezing. It's close, but you're not freezing. So, I'm within range of the voodoo. Or is the other Jason within range of the voodoo? So Mystic John's going to trade this Jason off for the other Jason. Jason, I feel sorry for you. Yeah, you better stay on the good side because, see, what John's not telling you is he's got the voodoo down pat, but ever since he moved up there, he has been studying that witchcraft like it ain't nobody's business, and he's coming up with a hybrid called voocraft or witch do. He hasn't quite came up decided which way it's going to be, but it's either going to be Vucraft or which do. So Marty's saying it's going up to 63 degrees Fahrenheit by him. And Marty's due north of me. And I'm actually going to be up in Marty's state this weekend, but I won't be nowhere near Marty. So we're going to go visit some friends over in Monette. John, tell me something I don't already know. Hey, Greg! Midsummer Railway N-Scales in the house. Hi, Jason, everyone in chat. Sorry I can't individually say hello. My chemo drug side effects are making it hard to follow the chat. I hate to hear that, Greg, but hey, I appreciate you hanging out and listening, and you don't have to worry about doing a whole bunch of typing. It's all good, buddy. Yeah, Vucraft. That's right. So, but anyways, man, it would be nice to see a train come by. I don't know if it will or won't happen, but it would be really nice. Actually, whoa, is that what I think it is? We will have a train come by. It's going to be coming from the other direction, which I don't have a good visual. But what I'll do is I've got the window cracked, so that way I can hear the grade crossings just north of me come down. Now, the only downside is I don't know exactly when that train's coming. All I know is I look back this way and I have a green signal. That tells me something's coming because typically the signals are dark or not lit. Hey, Nathan DeLay, you made it back in the States yet, Nathan? I know you said you were headed up to New York City. Nathan's been doing, for those who don't know, Nathan's been doing an extensive tour over in Canada. But N-Scalers, let me ask you this while I got you in here. And I know there's a few different ones. Would you be okay having an HO scale custom painted, custom decaled car, knowing that no manufacturer has ever made one in a display case as a prize? Would that be a good prize for y'all? Or do y'all prefer something that you could run on your layout? Or does it matter? Because I know not everybody's into displaying or collecting or whatnot. So that's why I'm asking. Option for both is a trap door. You're exactly right. It's kind of like on the show, Let's Make a Deal. You know, you can have door number 1 or door number 2. The question is it a good deal or not? Well, you don't know until you pick the door and then you find out what's behind the door. All right, so Mystic, the car that I was explaining earlier, Micro Trains did make it in N-scale. Lionel made it in O scale. Nobody has made it in HO scale. It is the Pullman Standards 75th thousandth PS1 boxcar that was awarded to the St. Louis Southwestern or the Cotton Belt Railroad. So it's a 40-foot boxcar. But like I said, Microtrains made it, Lionel made it. Nobody in HO has made it. So in order for me to have it, I got to custom paint it, custom decal it, and the only manufacturer that made the actual proper kit with the correct type of sliding door on the side of the cars was tangent, and the tangent kits are like $50 US a piece. So, but like I said, I've got some extra display. They're like plastic acrylic display cases. I could just put a piece of track in there, send you the box car, and you could put the box car in the protective case. So, so Marty likes it. All right, Nathan, I did go to New York and was originally going to go to Philly, but go to Philly to Harrisburg, but my dad knew someone who could take me closer to home, so that's what I did. Okay. Canada was pretty amazing. Got to see some awesome people I've been wanting to, I'm assuming, meet for such a long time. Well, that's awesome you got that opportunity, Nathan. I've only met, let's see, who all have I met? I've met Flying Crow many times. I've met Claude with Back on Track once. I've met Chris Mitchell, Roy Hardwick, also Container Man 68. And last year I got to meet Pappy. So, the honest answer, I would only give Chef space for that if it was a Southern card. I get that. So, not everybody, I could see where not everybody, most people are like, oh, it's just a cotton belt box car. But it's not. It's Pullman Standard's 75,000th box car. So, and if I'm not mistaken, and it also lists all the railroads that have bought PS1 box cars. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the Southern Railroad is listed in that list. I'd have to go back and look. So, Mystic John's only met Pappy and Scott Johnson. See, I haven't met Scott. I think Nathan is probably in the running up there with Sparky as to who's met the most YouTubers in the community. I know Sparky is probably like the highest up there. But I would think, if you go to Sparky's meet and greet, you're going to meet a lot. And there comes the grade crossings. So let me take my camera and I'm going to flip it around. So y'all get to see my finger for a little bit. Let me see how this looks. There we go. That's a good view of the tracks. All right. Let's see if we can get a train coming. Well, my grade crossings are down, and now they're going back up. What the heck? Oh, I see the train down there, too. He stopped. What? Well, that's a joke. I'm going to stand up. Hold on a second. Okay, well, that's a joke. So, guys, we've all got fooled. All right. So there is a train sitting down there. Doesn't have his headlights on. And I looked, so I can see 2 grade crossings. There's actually 3. And then there's one on this side too. And so I do have a green signal on main 1, but the train is stopped. That tells me that they're doing a crew change. Or waiting on a crew to come to do the crew change. And then there is Union Pacific, I guess part of the signal gang is, or I don't know what team they're called, but They're down there in the electronic box that controls all the grade crossing sensors and equipment. They're in that box testing equipment. So, yeah, teasing. Yeah, it's too early for April Fools. That's a week away. So, and it's a mixed freight too. Like I can see a tank car and a box car on it. So yeah, I'm being teased. You was out of service zone. So that's why that happened. And that's okay, Nathan. I appreciate y'all being on the stream the other night. I hope y'all had a lot of fun while we were playing bingo. So I guess what I need to try to do is after I get those tangent kits, I will try to get an O scale and an N scale version of that car. I know I can easily get my hands on the O scale. It's the HO scale that I don't know if I can easily get my hands on. Now, that's not to say that if I, keep looking, maybe we'll have a train come from the other side. I don't know. But in 15, I'm only going to be on here for about another 15 minutes, and it's probably not going to be looking very likely. So we got teased. Is what it is. Some days I get to sit here, I get to see a train. Some days I sit here, I don't see a single train. And then some days I'll sit here and I get like 3 within an hour. So it's pretty nice. So you got to see Chris from Go Via or Go Home, Mark from M&M Rails. And you got some actual maple syrup. That's pretty cool. Can't beat Canadian maple syrup. Not at all. It would be nice if, let's see, I'm pretty sure that Crown Royal, and I'm talking about the whiskey, is made in Canada. That would be pretty awesome if they had a Crown Royal flavored maple syrup. Joe, you're right on time, dude. You're not late. Late would be after the stream ended. Then you would have been late. And don't worry, I don't have that song for you where it says, I'm late, I'm always late. And I don't know the rest of it, but I'm going to be late. From Alice in Wonderland that Steve Childers has. So, yeah, I don't have that. And we got James from Dundas Junction Model Railroad in the house. I am almost late. See, there you go, almost. But see, almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. So, but yeah. Mac and cheese is phenomenal. Some of the best mac and cheese I've ever had is Chick-fil-A's mac and cheese. Don't ask me why. I don't know why, but it is what it is. So, Joe, you're a channel member. Did you see the members only video that I put up yesterday asking for help? It is on there. Make sure you go and take a part of it. And also, sorry to hear about your dog, by the way. For those who don't know, pets are like family members for those who don't have pets. So Joe's kind of going through a rough time. So everyone keep Joe in your thoughts. And if you're the praying type, keep him in your prayers too. So, but sorry to hear, Joe. Yeah, yesterday was a bad day. Yeah. I'm going to be devastated when I have to go through that because I got two Great Danes. And I know big breeds, they don't typically last as long as the smaller breeds. But both of my girls, they're 7, and they're still spunky. But man, are they showing age. They are showing age big time. So I know it's going to be hard when mine go. So. Are you going to try to get you another dog, Joe? Or are you going to take a break from pets? I'm just curious. I can send you some fish. They're real easy to take care of. They don't make noises. Hey, PK&W Model Works is in the house. What is going on? I know what kind of pet Joe needs. I got the perfect pet for you, Joe. If I end up hatching, so I've got some eggs in the incubator. If I end up hatching a rooster, I will send him to you, and he will make the perfect pet. So, man, that's a lot of beagles, Joe. So, yeah, you just missed it. We just got teased. I looked back this way, and I can see the signals, and it's still green. I have a green signal on main number 1. I've got a double track main in front of me, and I was like, all right, we got a train coming. I'll just wait till I hear the crossing gates, right? And I'm sitting in between 2 grade crossings, but then there's a third one, just a little bit further. And I heard the electronic bells going off. And I see the grade crossing gate start to go down. I'm like, all right, got to get the camera flipped so I don't miss it. And I'm like, where's the train? I don't see the headlight. And then the gates start coming back up. And I'm like, what the? So I look out there and I'm like, oh, well, I see the train. There is a train sitting on main 1 further down. But its headlights off and the ditch lights are off, which tells me they're waiting on a crew change. And then I see some of the signal guys down there, and they are working in the electronic box, not at this grade crossing, but the next one. And so I think they're down there testing and messing with stuff. And so, yeah. So, yeah, we got teased. All right, Nathan is saying when he was at Harrison's house, SMT mainline said, you can run any train you want, and I chose to run his Hiawatha, and he was totally fine with it. That's a pretty cool train set, a Hiawatha. And Joe's saying that's my last dog. He's not going to go through it again. Well, that's why I said I'll get you a rooster if you want a rooster, and you can name him Richard. And that would be a good name for a rooster. I think if I end up keeping a second rooster, depending on how many hens I end up hatching, I think the next rooster I'll end up keeping, I'm going to call him Richard too. So, I'm just curious to see who all is going to get that joke between Richard and the nicknames and what a rooster is actually called. And I can't really say all of that on here. I got to keep it kind of at least PG-13. So Bob, I am located in Cabot, Arkansas, which is just northeast of Little Rock. I am sitting on the Union Pacific Hoxie subdivision. And this is a section of the Hoxie sub that is a double main. It double mains all the way from North Little Rock, where the North Little Rock Yard is, to a town called Bald Knob, Arkansas. And there it splits and wise off. And that's where the Memphis subdivision is located. And then Hoxie will go straight up to Poplar Bluff, but then it changes from double track to single track. So the section that I'm at is a north and south route, but it's also an east and west route. So, and it more than just UP runs here. There's CN crews that use it. I've seen CP, KCS. You know, just depending on what's happening, another crew could use the trackage here. You know, especially like if storms hit their tracks. So like if Mississippi gets really, really nasty storms, I'll see NS and CSX crews come through here. So Richard the Rooster, that's a great name. Yeah, my wife thought so too. Andy gets the joke. There you go. Well, UP doesn't run the War Bonnet. That would be BNSF. And BNSF does run a local through here. So the War Bonnet would be War Bonnet would have been Santa Fe, and Burlington Northern Santa Fe, they have the War Bonnets. No, KCS is part of CP, Canadian Pacific, and it's now CPKC. See, there you go. Andy knew where I was going with it. He knew my sense of humor. I know, I'm bad. I'm so bad. Yeah. Yeah, there's still a few War Bonnets floating around. Not many. Now, there are some short line railroads that used to operate on the Santa Fe. And I got to see one of their locomotives come through, not under any power, and it was in the middle of the consist, which was really weird. So it was more acting as like a freight car, but it was a Jeep. I believe it was a Jeep 35, but it was for the Southwestern Railroad Company, and it was an old Santa Fe yellow bonnet. Most people call the yellow bonnets blue bonnet because the blue is the primary color, but the blue sits on top of the yellow, therefore it's a yellow bonnet. So now there's a difference between seeing the locomotives itself and a crew. I have seen every Class 1 locomotive as part of distributed power, but I'm talking as far as actual crews. So the people driving the trains being from other railroads. So, for example, if like I said, if Mississippi gets some really, really nasty storms, like a tornado comes through, lands trees along the tracks, you will have an actual Norfolk Southern train come out of Memphis down to North Little Rock, and then they'll make their way down to New Orleans or Nolens, which is not just a train with Norfolk Southern locomotives, but it has Norfolk Southern engineer and a Norfolk Southern conductor, brakeman, you name it. The employees are not UP employees, they're NS employees. So, and the same with CSX. Richie the Rooster, that's a good one too. I'll have to share that one with Amanda. She might like that one. Saw a War Bonnet at the 24-hour Railfan event in Saginaw, Texas. I'll miss those events now that I am up in Pennsylvania. Oh, I didn't know you were down in Saginaw. I call that scheme the freight bonnet, considering the Santa Fe had F units in yellow, blue, and red. Yep. So the technical term is, beside the war bonnet, when it comes to the blue and the yellow units, whatever the primary color is, that would be the color of the nose and the color of the font. That is that color bonnet. So if you got a yellow locomotive that's got blue on top of it with yellow letters, that's a yellow bonnet. If it is a blue locomotive with yellow on top of it with the blue letters, that's a blue bonnet. Most people get it backwards. And this doesn't come from me. This actually comes from a guy who grew up on the Santa Fe. And he is like, I'm a freak about Cotton Belt. He is a freak about Santa Fe. So that comes from him. So Bob is saying Norfolk Southern runs multiple times a day, not 100 feet from my shop across the road. That's not bad. That's pretty cool. I mean, UP runs a lot of trains through here. It's just not a constant run. Like, it could be like a stretch of 2-3 hours and you don't see anything. And then it's like a freaking herd of cattle where you'll have trains racing each other and you can see 3 to 4 trains at a time, within an hour. So it's just the luck of the draw. Call him Harold. So we've currently got 8 chicks in the incubator that we candled eggs yesterday, and there are 8 viable chicks. I had 1 egg crack, so I had to discard it, but that cracked over a week ago. And then I got 3 eggs that are just clear. They're not fertilized. So what I ended up doing was I hard boiled those and I fed them back to my chickens. So that's just good protein for them. It wouldn't have been safe for me to eat because the eggs have been in there for 2 weeks. So I gave them back to them. And you can even give a chicken raw egg. They'll eat raw egg, but that's not a good idea because then they'll go in the nest and start pecking at the eggs in the nest. So yeah, you definitely don't want that. But Rufus the rooster, that's another good one. But I'm curious to see how many hens and how many roosters I end up getting out of this batch. But only getting 8, I'll probably end up incubating some more. I might, instead of getting 1 dozen of eggs, I might get 2 dozens. We got a local hatchery, and I can just get the eggs fresh from him. But I'll tell you, a dozen eggs of hatching eggs is not cheap. So, so Joe, no rooster for Joe. So Joe can't have a rooster. All right, guys. Well, I hate to do this, but it is 1 o'clock Eastern, noon Central. So, and I go to lunch between 11 and 12, and thank God I got to go on the road today. So, soon as I get off this stream, which is fixing to be in just a couple of minutes, I will be driving to another location, so I'll be on the clock. So with that being said, I appreciate everybody coming in here. I will try to do this more often. I will have Junior with me some too. So some of y'all know that situation, some of y'all don't, and I'll explain it at a later time. But he's not with me today. He's at home, spring break. But we'll try to do this more often if possible. And so just, I'm not going to schedule it out. It's just going to be kind of random. So if you enjoy coming in, just hanging out with me, it's not going to be a daily thing like some other channels out there, but just on a random thing. Just make sure, first off, you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you got the bell filled in, so that way when I do end up going live randomly, like I did today, you will be notified. And then if you don't mind on your way out, please smash that like button. It really helps the channel out more than you know. So, and of course, if you do a live stream or a video, you'd want people to thumb your stuff up too. So, if you don't mind, I would greatly appreciate it. So, with that being said, I appreciate everyone hanging out with me today. Sorry we didn't get a train this time. Maybe next time. Who knows? I don't work for UP, so I don't know what their schedule's like. So, but other than that, y'all be safe out there and happy railroading. Take care. God bless. We'll see y'all.